Good morning, everyone. Get some charts. All right. So for the moment, it's up. Yesterday, you could see the reversal. It's really just, I don't know, just screw the traders kind of situation where it had broken down at that point, and then yesterday reversed back up again. And you know what? Intraday it sold off, and then more news. The news is just sickening at this point. You know, President flip flopping almost on a daily basis, making the markets crazy. Traders crazy, right? When the markets care. Anyway, um, prices moving up right into relatively stiff resistance area and declining 20 MA. We'll see where things line up on other markets. See the futures here into a declining 20 MA and into the area of this congestion of several bars, which you can see over to the left here as it moves up in there. We expect sellers are going to show up. Um, Now, from the low over 2 days, I'm assuming it gets up to that area, and I assume it will, because that's where the resistance is, where sellers will probably show up. It may get a little bit above that, um, yeah, up to those pivots there. So give or take, it's about 7% in 2 days from the April 9th. It's unchanged. So running in place for over a week, give or take, week and a half, going nowhere. And so what do we do at this point? Well, it's in a downtrend. Weekly's in a downtrend. Credit spreads, if you can find the premium, certainly not a place to go long, not this pattern anyway. We find other things that have more of consolidations and bases and have room to run that don't have resistance directly overhead. But we would expect markets to stall. I mean, they're gapping up here. Well, Qs are gapping up. Just over 2%, IWM close to 2%, SPY gapping up 1.75%, and so on. So relatively large gaps into resistance areas after a move up yesterday. Short-term expectation would be for at least a stall. And ideally, right, if we were going to go long, right, what kind of pattern would we look for? That's the bottom line. And it wouldn't be this. It would be some kind of consolidation where sellers can attempt to take control back within this downtrended area of resistance. And we see a bottoming tail bar, some kind of consolidation. And then maybe we can get some kind of continued retracement into this area here to the next resistance area, which is not desirable because, the bottom line, what we'll have is a downtrend that made a higher low and a higher high, and that often sets up a reversal down in alignment with the higher time frame. So when I can't get too far ahead of ourselves, we'll deal with today and see what the reaction here is in the next half hour or so after the market opens. And Qs, similar pattern, little relative weakness compared, coming in to this unfilled gap area, declining 20 MA, overhead resistance. Maybe could play a little catch up before sellers come in a little bit more aggressively near those pivots. As you can see on the 5-minute chart, momentum is slowing down. Right, so this is how we do it. Right, consolidation, nice strong momentum, sideways, creating pivot, nice strong momentum. Going to be buyers on pullbacks toward minor resistance. Momentum slowed down, smaller distance here to here. just barely taking out the highs. And so now starting to pull back a little bit. Trend is still up, higher highs and higher lows. Basic retracement concepts. If it retraces down here, we know the 5-minute time frame is now in question. There should be buyers there. So, however, that being up here, close to here, it leads us more toward what are the next news going to be? Hopefully, it's just positive news from here, but whatever it might be, it might be. And we'll see what comes. YM, little relative weakness compared, not at the 20 MA, coming up into resistance. Similar 5-minute chart, had a pivot on the 65-minute. Expecting things to stall. A wee bit better here, right? A little bit stronger momentum, right? This was showing relative strength. It was starting to roll over like everything else, and it flipped up, and now it's up at resistance, right? But maybe it's got a little bit more room, maybe to follow through. We'll see. Again, what is the reaction going to be to that pivot there? And we wait and see. And gold had a down day yesterday. Topping tail bar, it's down here this morning. Again, news. In addition to the news, the dollar, which has been crushed, it's extended to the downside and began to flip up. So dollar started to go up, oil started to come down, and the news, we know the news, so on and so forth. So dollar's kind of flip-flopping around here. It was substantially higher, and now it's pulling back. So some indecision beginning, right, for the moment. And I think that's probably what we're going to have at the open. We're going to be like kind of a wait and see. Yeah, we've had this, substantial move off of the low. It's at resistance. Let's see what the reaction is going to be to that resistance. And that's what we'll see. If it collapses, that'll be telling. And if it sits there and goes sideways, which is the concept of what we call absorbing supply, which is bullish, is that, okay, here's this resistance area. It's up a lot in 2 days and it won't go down. Bottom line, right? At the moment, it's a positive. All right. Silver, it's flip-flopping around here, tough to get it going, but it's, it underperformed gold. There's a lot of talk that silver is going to do a catch-up. The pattern at the moment supports that. I love when they dip down under the lows. I'd look for if I could drag this 4 days and put that sideways next to the spiders or Qs with room to go up, that would be the kind of pattern we'd be looking for, where there would be some kind of a shakeout. And we'd see that there was strong demand. Do a condor on this if you could get far enough away, Robert. If there was premium, if you could, on SLV, you look to see, credit spreads are the most simple trading concept there is if you use charts, right? When you cloud the whole thing up with Vega, Varna, all of this hocus pocus stuff. Look, there's a big area of resistance here. There's a big area of support here. It's in the middle. It's hanging out there. Do I think it's going to go up here in the short term? No. Down here, short term, no. Is there premium up there and up there? If there is, what's the time to expiration? And if you take stops, if not, you lose an arm. That's 100% correct, Robert. So the reward to risk with credit spreads is what it is. And all big boys and girls know what they are. So if you're going to trade credit spreads, you need to be a defensive trader, because otherwise you're going to lose your arm, right? So to speak. It is what it is. Now, if you can read a chart, and you can find premium that expires in the short term, the odds are on your side, right? Well, Dan's very good at it. He's been doing it for years, and he likes those kind of income trades, but you have to be of the nature to play a good defense. I don't like it, you know. Now, zero DTE, control risk for a day. Yeah, that's great. Now, if they start that with stocks, that is going to be a wonderful thing for us. You know, on liquid stocks now, you can do zero DTE on spiders and Qs, but they rarely have enough premium to get far enough away. So the whole concept with credit spreads is how far away can I get? And what's the time to expiration? And so our job, right, as traders is to, go and find that. And depending on the market environment and volatility, sometimes it's feast or famine. And so that's it. So that's in essence, it's one of our tools as a trader in the trader toolbox. And there's directional trades, right? Puts, calls, if you're using options, are they liquid? And what's the spread? And so on and so forth. Or just buying and shorting. So there's different ways, different vehicles to make money, right? Directionally, looking at silver, there's nothing to do here, right? But if it can break out, well, there's a directional trade. It's not difficult once you have a method of reading the price action without indicators. The difficult part is waiting for your pitch, so to speak. And sometimes, like today, things are gapping up, and we're not going to get any kind of an easy pitch. Oil, it's in a downtrend. It's at minor resistance. It's stalled here. We'll sell off in the 5 minute, going sideways, doing nothing for the moment. Okay. SMHs didn't do too much yesterday. They were up, but this is, just marking time. Where is it here? Gapping up to the 20 in an unfilled gap. What are you going to do with that? For me, nothing. So again, this is up, downtrend. So as we look around, what would we want to see? I'd like to see regional banks doing well. That's gapping up into a pivot, but some sideways consolidation, some jiggling around, and maybe we have something after a half hour. We're going to have to see how it plays out. XLF, that's gapping up above a pivot. So this could be something that could be a continuation, maybe toward the 50 over the next few days. Keep an eye on that. Interest rates are, down a bit here, so that's helping the market. Not anything there. Transports, we don't see pre-market, but anyway, just flip-flopping around. I would assume they're going to go up with everything else. It'll be dragged along with it. Just look where the Qs are gapping to. Qs gapping just above the declining 20 MA and an unfilled gap into a resistance area. Doesn't present well us with an opportunity. Other than, you know what? I'm just thinking as I'm talking here, what would I want to do with something like that? Well, maybe if there was premium on this gap up, maybe there's a whole bunch of call buyers out there that are jacking the premium. And we could do a call spread if the premium was far enough away. Just a thought. Right? TLT, a W pattern. Well, look at the gap up, Robert. What am I going to do with this? I mean, it's retarded. I mean, I've been through markets like this that gap, like on a day-to-day basis like this. It's frustrating, because what's your reward to risk here? I mean, you could put your toe in the water, so to speak, but you're going to put your stop down here and maybe it's going to get up to the 50. You know, anyway, let me move on. We're talking in the room, you know, you have ideas. All right. So SPY gapping up into the declining 20 MA. You see the pivots over there to the left on the 65-minute chart. Okay. So we get a kind of a baseline as to possibly where things are going to open up. And we look at SPX. So that little topping tail bar. I've already looked at the premiums. Nothing was touched yesterday. All right. Average range over 5 days is about 130 points. Prices are gapping up into unfilled gap. Resistance declining 20. 5,400 is the largest open interest in calls. Has a tendency to put a stop to an advance. 5,200 is the largest open interest in put options, tends to put a floor under the market. Right? So it's gapping up here. Call strike is up at 55.60. It's never going to get there today. And I say that as if you could bet your wife on it. Oh, life on it. But probability of getting up there today is slim to none. There's another unfilled gap up there. Right? So somewhere in between there, you could just do there with a wide strikes, of course, but highly unlikely to get down there. And opening up here, I think it's unlikely to go down here either. So it's opening up at resistance. The probability of continuing higher in the short term is low. Okay. And that's it. All yours, Dan.
That's it.
Saying if I don't hear kill zone this morning, I'll be disappointed. Kill zone. There you go. Well, the kill zone is very large. So it's not a tight kill zone. So when I refer to kill zones, it's kind of in between these moving averages. But it's here. It's not even in between the moving averages. But it might get there and maybe, in the coming days. Go ahead, Dan.
The last night when I saw the futures, the S&P up 100 points, I texted Greg without even looking at the charts because I know what it looks like and I know what a 100-point gap looks like. I said, how the hell are we going to trade this in the morning? Because I knew, just like yesterday, gapped up and it actually held incredible relative strength. But yeah, my bias is, yeah, let's look at the call spread. Just gonna wait for our turn intraday. But then it should be put spread galore, which was my bias yesterday too. I said if we get a controlled pullback, I'll go through as many as I can here, but the couple casinos, hotels, cruise ships, all these similar bottoming patterns. So they're everywhere. Let's see here. Raul gave me a couple here on YouTube. That's a beautiful bottoming pattern. So yes, I love this. But 144, it's capping top of the range. Put spread, I would do if there's premium. Directional, maybe a 30-minute high. Yeah, okay, he gave me three of them here. ADMA is a sloppy buy setup with a 180 reversal. So that looks fine. Polymer, a buy setup, nice uptrend, 20, 50, 200 rising. That's, you don't see many charts like that with this sell off. All right, so those are those. Yeah, I had a number of alarms go off here. All right, so we're Let me just go over our longs since we don't have many of them. CELH. And we said you could add today over yesterday's high. That's a nice consolidation. From a beautiful, we traded it here also. And we traded it over this red bar. And then we got out here. And then we got in again on this green bar. Algin. So we have 6 open trades in the advisory, all bullish. Algin is gapping up a little. CVGW was in the weekend letter. Nice multiple time frame alignment, daily, weekly, monthly. Dollar General. We got in on this bar. Actually, a little relative weakness today. I wonder if that's because of risk on. Fedor. Little bottoming pattern we're in. Just playing catch up. It's a dog, but it's tight to support. T-Tech, another one we entered yesterday, bottoming pattern. We did a couple of these Bitcoin stocks. So we got in ARKB. I said sell half pre-market. We did coin put spread yesterday, another Bitcoin thing. Wish we did directional too. Hood was on my list for today. Big multi-month bottoming pattern here, gapping up. We'll watch that on a pullback. Pelletier was in the weekend letter, gapping up. So I'm going to start off with a put spread, but watch this as a directional. Look at daily weekly here. That's room to go to 110. We were talking about possibly buying call options on Goldman. We said it's a junky pattern, but a little ascending triangle within the context of this April 9 flagpole with a void. We said it had a $20 target. And look, it's gapping up 17 bucks. So it's already, the gap is 17 of our $20 target. So gap messed it up. But there's patterns like this everywhere. And then we put on CRWV, a little recent IPO, 100% retracement, 180 gapping up. So we should have a nice open game there. I'll monitor that at the open. Oklo, I just posted. I mean, bottoming pattern, but put spread. Let me tell them. Let's wait. I'll tell them to wait 5-minute high if gaps over it. So it's not a directional, but yeah, it's going to be put spread galore. Look at Marriott. Just they're making a turn here after being clobbered. So I don't like them directional, but Hyatt, Hilton, Caesar's Palace. Look, it made the turn, closing breakout. RCL, put spread under here if there's any juice. All right, let's go up to earnings now. Well, I disagree, Brett, because Brett, where are they going to suck you in? Where? Sucking you in implies a no-brainer setup. There is no, they ain't sucking me into nothing. You see my point? Where are they going to suck me in? I'm just concentrating on put spreads is all right now. And unless I mention it directional like Pelletier, but I have to. Okay, but I mean, don't take this personal. Then you're a friggin' idiot for jumping in at the market open. What did Greg say? Up 7-8% in 2 days, gap in the resistance. All right, Tesla. I've been watching this for like 3 months. I've been trading this stock, and I actually shorted the 275 puts. I didn't give them the subscribers. because this is kind of a big descending triangle, but it's a retest. And I love trading sentiment, meaning ultra fear or ultra greed. And Tesla was ultra fear. It's down 45% on major support. They're burning his friggin' cars and stations. They hate him. The China's going after him. He doesn't work there. He's the Doge man. It's like, and when I heard last night that their revenues are 71% down, and I was watching it post market, I'm like, this thing ain't moving. It's flat on revenue down 71%. I'm like, this is a bottom. I mean, a bottom intermediate term. I have no idea a year from now. So, big gap. I'll be looking to sell naked puts on that on a pullback. These are all earnings. BKR, no pattern, but 30-minute low would be a call spread, cough. Put spread if there's any juice. Actually, I did look. I was going to do the 1.7 or 1 on 40s yesterday, and it was ridiculous, like 10 cents or something like that. EQT, 51 bucks, no pattern. Wow, this is ENPH. This is a solar stock, I think. I mean, we showed this in MT Live when we were talking about news last week. The green news scam. Look at this. Look at that. This thing was 100 bucks. A solar ETF. All right, no pattern. BDN, no pattern. SAP, gap's too big. Alex was mentioning this. This is like the German Oracle, if you will. Gap's too big to do anything. RRC, it was up. Now it's down. It's a mess. No interest. I got plenty of others to watch. ISRG was tanking last night. That's a turnaround. There's a put spread if there's any juice. I just know traditionally he's very spreading. ZWS gapping up, no pattern. Weatherford gapping down. There could be a 30-minute low short. Man H 176. Definite put spread idea. Let me put him here. Definite put spread. Beautiful gap over all this consolidation. That's a no-brainer pattern if we get juice. ADC, gapping up. If this were gapping up more, then I'd say this could be a gap and crap, but that's an amazing retracement, and it's uptrend all time frames, but no pattern. Still to steal, obviously, put spread maybe. Package 178 call spread. Charlie Bravo, nothing. EWBC, gap's too big. Pega. Pega was one I said, I hope it opens flat or up just a little bit, and that would have been a beautiful bottoming pattern. Excessive gap. Done 30-minute low. It's just maybe possible 30-minute low call spread. Today's Wednesday, so for Friday is two nights. PMT call spread idea. BFSI, nothing. I'm going through these quick here and for earnings, nothing. Nothing. ORF. Put spread if there's anything. Mind. Gap's too big. I don't have any alarms going off, so I'm okay. Actually, I just had an Algen alarm going off. I mean, Algen. Okay, so let's sell a third. It exceeded the target. It exceeded the third target. So let's sell a third. This was still 30-minute low also. Horsemen are holding incredibly well so far. It's the problem, things like today, everybody and their grandmother who, well, I can't say that, but let me just say a ton of people are saying, give me a pullback to buy. And if it doesn't pull back, that's when they can chase things higher. Well, I didn't give it I revised it pre-market. I did not give it an entry. I just said just do it. And I put an order out myself. And I didn't hear a bell go off. So I'm not in it. But 30-minute high, or I mean maybe even 10-minute high. This looks, if this were to close like this, looks fantastic. All right, so Don, maybe we go tighter now on the Pelletier. Let me look at this alarm first. DSGX. Come on, man. This is my old laptop and it is DSGX. Put spread, DSGX. If somebody wants to look, I'm very busy right now. Man H, I said, no brainer. All right, give me an idea. This I said was a no friggin' brainer put spread, but well, there's no weeklies for one thing, and secondly, they're friggin' spreading. I'm gonna try to sell the 125s. I'm gonna put an order out at $1.10. Not gonna get filled, they're spreading. All right, Pelletier, let's change. All right, so 88, we can do that 20 MA. The only reason I picked on 85 was because when I looked at the premium, I'm like, man, there's this much premium this low. So we can do the 88s. 88 plus 5 is 83. And it's only 56. All right. I mean, this is a big gap to resistance. I think we gotta let's try to get some price improvement. I have it in the bottom right there. All right, Dollar General is stopping out. I tighten the stop pre-market, take the money. It's a nice gain. Coin, I said 5-minute low for half. Fatitter. Hey, Fatitter, finally. Let's move stop break even. And Greg, you tried to get me out of my Fatitter. I said, no, sir.
You got lucky. Trump flip-flopped.
Well, exactly. I know I did, but we were talking about, whether there was a reason to exit. Same with that CELH. All right, so for titter, yeah. Oh, yeah, I meant to check my curve and I forgot. Because I'm a little busy here. All right, for titter. CELH. All right, I moved stop break even on this. If it were to close like this, that would be a beautiful add over the high. But yeah, we're coming in here, so let's not get caught up even like that Pelletier. Pelletier, well, it's at the high, it's holding well, but I'd like to get some price improvement. All right, what is it stock? CRWV. Yeah, I did a put spread and make it. Come on, man. Because I did naked puts for Friday and then I did the put spread for next week. That's what I did. All right, the put spread, I'm showing 23 cents on mine. CRWB. All right, I'm gonna bid 15 cents. Wow, market just did a leg up. All right, I'm gonna bid 15. Let's see. If I get filled, I'll tell you. Filled already. All right, so I'm out at 15 on that. Now I got these nakeds where they're 0 by 40. All right, so I'm gonna bid a nickel. Filled. All right, so I'm out of my curve or curve weave, whatever you want to call them. All right, let's move stop here for the back half. 30.08. Let's say I got out at 15 cents, which is what, 70% of max value. So to avoid 9 days of risk, that's judgment call. Oh, and our coin, I said half lot low. Let me check him. 67. 3 cents, so we actually met target on coin. Yeah, Roku and look. Midpoint's 3.